Slumpbusters? Welcome in, Buccaneers fans, Rams fans, whoever happens to be tuning into this reaction. It's hard to say what really is a game of the year, game of the weekend, and a weekend in which we had so many great games. This one was part of it. Starting off the Sunday slate, Tom Brady versus the Los Angeles Rams. The last two times these teams have played, well, the Rams got the better of Brady, 2-0 record against Tom, and that moves to 3-0 as a statement I thought was ridiculous. Merely a few days ago comes to reality. Matthew Stafford has beaten Tom Brady on the road in a playoff game. That just sounds so strange. That sounds like a foreign language coming out of my mouth that happened. In a weird way, I'm kind of disgusted by that result. I don't know what it is. The GOAT, Tom Brady, getting knocked out by Matthew Stafford. And maybe that's unfair. Maybe that's just me thinking about Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford. But it just internally in the back of my mind, I'm like thinking, especially with the rumors of Brady potentially retiring, Matthew Stafford cannot be the one that retires Tom Brady. It just cannot come to be. That is not how the prophecy is written. That is not what I saw when I looked into the sky. That is not what I saw when I looked into the stars. Not Matthew Stafford beating Tom Brady to end his career at 44 years old, giving off a Super Bowl. I don't know how I predict Tom Brady's career will eventually end, who will be the quarterback to eventually end the streak, put him in the ground, but it can't be Matthew Stafford. That is the one thing I'm just going to throw out there.
But this is how football works, right? Isn't it weird how Tom Brady's the Patriots dynasty ended by Nick Foles and Ryan Tannehill, ended the Patriots dynasty after 20 years. It was Foles and then Tannehill ended the Patriots. Jimmy Garoppolo just ended the Aaron Rodgers Packers dynasty in Green Bay. Like this would be perfect if this is how Tom Brady ends, which it's not, by the way. Tom Brady will be back. He'll be back next year. He'll probably be back the year after that. Then he'll probably retire, but he'll be back at least 2 more seasons. The point being, the report today was that Tom Brady would consider it if they had back-to-back championships, which is obviously over now. Isn't it incredible how much offensive line play matters in the NFL? Like, you took away the Bucs 2-star lineman and Tom Brady just had no chance because he changed football by saying, I will not get hit. I will not face pressure because I'm going to get the ball out so quickly. And the Rams put so much pressure on Tom Brady that offense had no chance today. No chance. Tom Brady played like the Tom Brady of that last year with the Patriots when he had no receivers and an average offensive line, where he had a worse QBR than Mitchell Trubisky on the season. So yeah, Tom Brady, not great. But what I found most fascinating about this game was the Rams should have won 34-3. They were up 34-3. And I'd like to count all the ways that the Rams, in just I called it absolute dumb fuckery, that the Rams tried to lose this game. The Rams had, right before halftime, a fumble at the goal line by Cam Akers. They could have kicked a field goal and it would have been 30-3, or they score a touchdown and it's 34-3. No, they fumble at the goal line, don't score before halftime. Followed up by a Cooper Kupp fumble. I think second fumble all season for Cooper Kupp, if I remember correctly. Fumbles the ball, Buccaneers take it back, immediately score right after that. Then you had the Von Miller strip sack leading to a botched snap. When have we seen a botched snap in a football game like that in the last entire season? Botched snap recovered by the Patriots immediately after that. A Pro Bowl kicker kicked a 47-yard field goal short. He missed a kick 3 yards short from 47 yards. A Pro Bowl kicker, no good immediately after that. Then Jalen Ramsey gets burned like burnt toast by Mike Evans with no timeouts and 3 minutes left to go. Cut it to 7. Cam Akers fumbles the football when if he picks up 2 yards, he gets the first down. 2 yards from getting the first down, fumbles the football, recovered by Tampa. They scored a touchdown right after that. And the Rams still found a way to win. The Rams, this would have been, forget like Falcons. The Falcons one had some dumb moments in there. This would have been one of the great chokes in the history of football if at the very end, Sean Murphy Bunting doesn't get absolutely burnt in the secondary and the Los Angeles Rams end up winning the game anyways at the end. So yeah, 7 plays of absolute dumb fuckery the Rams tried to do to lose that game because they dominated the Buccaneers on offense. They dominated the Buccaneers with the pass rush. Von Miller was amazing. Aaron Donald was amazing. Absolutely dominated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they did everything they possibly could to throw it away, and yet they still found a way to win.
Now, obviously, the offense takes a big part of the blame for starting off so slow and not exactly putting the Buccaneers in a great position to win that game. But do you have a little bit of blame for Todd Bowles and Bruce Arians for deciding to go all-out blitz on that play that Cooper Kupp got wide open on? Granted, we did see prevent defense burn the Bills against the Chiefs just now. But on the other hand, you can't let a guy get behind you like that. You have to have a safety deep for that one. You can't just let that play happen. I know Cooper Kupp is shifty and he could get around these guys and make plays happen like that, but to get burnt by Cooper Kupp is a different thing.
Well, remember when everyone torched Greg Williams last year for calling that blitz and then they lost at the end of the game? The problem with that play was that when they blitzed, one of the linebackers got stuck trying to get through the offensive line. He was like running into the back of his lineman, so he lost his momentum. So they tried to rush 5, but it was really like a 4-person rush, and then they were basically playing with 10 defenders. That's kind of what happened to the Bucs on that play, which was if they execute the blitz correctly, then Stafford doesn't get the ball out there to Cooper Kupp, but they didn't execute correctly. They got kind of log jammed in the offensive line, and Stafford had enough time to hit single coverage with Cooper Kupp, which again, single coverage with Cooper Kupp, that's a terrible idea under any circumstances. But if you sack Stafford, then you're all good. Clock's going to run and you end up going to overtime, I guess, at the end of the game. But yeah, no, it was a poor execution at the end by Tampa. Not sure I love the play call either. Like, as we saw with the Bills Chiefs game, like there's only so much you can actually do to stop these great offenses from moving down the field. But I think that the execution was probably 75% play call, 25%. If we're doing the classic sports radio, who's to blame for the last play of the game?
I just think that you have to put some onus on something, and that play call, I mean, yes, again, it's a culmination of 60 minutes of play. Every play matters in the grand scheme of things. You talk about the 7 plays that brought us to a 27-27 tie in the first place. But in that moment, since it is 27-27, it might as well be a 0-0 ball game. And you let the guy burn you like that, because Cooper Kupp, and he's a much better wide receiver than I ever gave him credit for coming into the year. He's not a burner. He's not a guy that just zips right past you. And yet in this game, he had the long touchdown, and then he had obviously what turned into basically the game-winning play. Obviously, if you're going into this next matchup against the Niners, that's the one guy you target. That's the one guy you don't let beat you, in a very similar way to where they weren't letting Devontae Adams really get by them or letting him burn them deep. You don't let Cooper Kupp get behind you is the key to that game coming next week. That's for the game preview. This is just a reaction to the madness that ensued here. And it's a shame because, like you said, this had the possibility of being the greatest, most memeable game in playoff history, up there with the Falcons. It'd be tough because the Falcons game is a Super Bowl. The Falcons game is a Super Bowl. So I think it still takes a little bit higher priority, but this would have been up there. This would have been absolutely wild to analyze in case studies years from now of how did that happen. Just another notch in Tom Brady's belt. Like you said, I hope he's back next year. I hope this isn't it. I can't see it being it after a playoff loss. That just doesn't seem very Brady-esque, especially considering he didn't look washed by any means this year. I mean, 5,300 some passing yards, 40 plus touchdowns again, outstanding. And this year, obviously, they came into the playoffs with Chris Godwin out, AB losing his mind. You mentioned the offensive line injuries. If they had the full team, if they have the full complement of players and they get maybe some extra help this offseason, I think they're going to be back in a position to win another Super Bowl. So this is not the time for Brady to leave. This is another chance for him to run it back next year, the way I look at this team and the construct of the Buccaneers. But anyway, guys, drop below your reactions to that game. Just absolute madness. In fact, drop below in the comments your favorite game of the divisional round, because there's some great choices here. Leave a like on this video. Helps to get it out there to more people. 15 subscribers away from the 2,000 mark. 15. Be one of the 15. Hit that subscribe button right now. Judy Talk Sports. Got a little better. Stay safe, happy, healthy. See you next time.